Good little spot.
Yeah.
I missed that, Ben. Whereabouts are you?
Omeo.
Where's
Do you know where
where's
Omeo
Omeo?
is, Dave?
It's like over the back of Falls Creek. They do a bike ride in March, I think, which is called Three Peaks, and it goes right across all three peaks. Yeah, pretty quiet out here.
Do you know what the three peaks are?
I think
I have no
Falls is
idea.
one. I think Hotham might be another, but I honestly don't really know if that's true or not, and I don't know what the third is.
Tawonga Gap.
Yeah, to go a full circuit round, maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they descend falls, then they go up Tawonga Gap. That's the first peak, and then
Yep.
if you go over Hotham, does that then go to like, is it Dinner Plains or whatever?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then can that go down to Omeo and then back up the falls? Maybe, I don't know.
You have to go from Omeo to Falls up the back of Falls Creek. I know that much. I know that much. Yeah, brutal, right?
Nice.
Are you staying out there, Ben, or are you just
I'm working out
building
here
fences?
for 3 days. They've got a mountain bike park that's getting done up, and they've got a road crossing that needs some fencing to slow people down on, and just putting that in. Yeah, so it's good fun, but kind of hard at the same time.
Nice. He's a real wilderness man when he spins that camera around with that beard and it looks like he's got a big jacket on and he looks like he's in a shed where he's been chopping wood all day.
Give us a look at the.
You can't spin it
Are you
once it's
cooking dinner over the fire?
I can only.
Oh, can you not?
No, you can't spin once it's recording.
I see you can't spin back.
No, I can just take a freaking selfie shot.
Well, why don't you jump out, then jump back in?
Yep.
With the camera facing your face.
All right, see ya.
Rightio.
There he is. Look at him.
Ben's back. See how it looks like? Look at the shed behind him. Looks like, are you going to cook dinner over the fire?
What kind of shirt are you wearing, actually?
You look like you've probably been having cups of tea by putting your kettle on the fire today. You've been making your toasties over the fire.
If I showed you inside, you would not believe it. That we're actually in 2025 here. It's rough. It is rough. I can't spin my camera. I'll show you. But they've got like a wood heater, which is a wood stove, DVDs from the 90s. It's a bit of a throwback.
Ooh. What do they have? What do they have on the DVDs? What DVDs they got?
I have not looked at them. There was one in the fridge, and there's like a demon in the freezer. Honestly, I've got a photo of it. It's weird.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I'm not.
And the best part about this story is just how happy Ben looks in the wilderness. You know what? It's a beautiful thing.
Pretty good.
But whilst you're chopping wood out there, mate, let's get down to business. We're here because Mr. Dave Ridley up the top there, well, he's up the top of my screen, has run a marathon today on a Monday. Do you know how hard and how frustrating it is to track a marathon on a Monday? Anyway, Oliver's just come out. That's why I'm pointing over here strangely. He's about to come into the background, maybe.
G'day, Oliver. Yeah, man. Weird to run a marathon on a Monday. That's a first, and hopefully a last.
Yeah, so that was. I must admit, it was hard to track you along, but how was it, mate? How'd it go? It was freezing cold. Actually, the very first question is: as freezing cold conditions, did you go with a hat or a beanie or nothing?
Well, I went with a hat, and I learned from last year to put those little heat pads in the hat. And we had a mixture of weather out there, so it was windy, and it was cold to start off with, and then it got a little bit warm, and the sun came out for sort of 5-10 minutes, and then probably by 20k, that's when it just got cold and sort of blizzard-like and just started snowing, and yeah, it was crazy. So, but yeah, I felt pretty good, man, and really, really happy. Like just stoked to get 218 done and have a good day in those conditions. But also, man, it's been, and you know better than anyone, like it's been it was 2021 when I ran 2:17, and I haven't gone faster since. So, um, it's nice to kind of be back running a solid time and just feeling like I can actually run a marathon. So I'm just happy and just relieved in many regards.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that sort of marathon, don't you, just to like build a healthy relationship with it again.
Yeah, because like every race I've done, every marathon, especially last year, was just a big fade in the back half, and like honestly, it just wasn't enjoyable at all. And um, kind of those. I'm in my sort of like late 30s now, and so those questions started entering my brain in terms of am I getting too old and am I sort of past my use by date and all that kind of stuff. So it's sort of nice to um, yeah, put that to bed a little bit and go, no, no, I can still run. I can still run okay.
Yeah. No, you're doing all right, mate. Let's break it down. So let's go, you know, I was in Osaka last year. So before the race, I imagine it's freezing cold. We're talking what, -1, 0 degrees on your way to the marshalling room?
I reckon it was better. It was definitely better than last year on the way there and warm up than because there was no rain. And it was
Yeah.
actually quite warm, so the sun was out, and that's why I was like umming and ahhing whether I do the beanie or the hat, and I had to make like a last minute call. But it actually was like I knew the wind was up and about, but um, yeah, it was really really nice compared to last year.
Yeah. What else did so as a warm up, what did you do for the warm up and what were you kind of dressed in, mate? Give it to us. Give the people what they
Oh,
want. Like, so we're track pants, how
oh,
many
like
jackets? Is there
oh,
any
like
thermal layers?
it's like four layers on top, beanie, poncho at times, tracksuit pants, all that kind of stuff. Oh, there he is,
Yes,
Richie.
we got Richie here as well. That's a good timing, actually, Richie. So Dave's just telling us that he warmed up in a pair of trackies, 4 layers on top. What was your warm up outfit? How many layers did you have on? You probably warmed up in chinos, knowing you.
Firstly, hello, gentlemen. Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, no, it was very brisk. Had the full, the gloves and the arm sleeves and all the layers. But, yeah, it was not too bad on the start line, was it, Dave? It was pretty still.
It was, I reckon, better. I say to the guys, better than last year on the start line for sure.
Yep. And
Oh,
just
yeah.
to let people know, not that we have many viewers, but the man that's just dropped in, Richie Egan, has also done Osaka. I'll let him tell everyone what time he ran. But a bit of an introduction on Richie. I don't know where to go here because you put me on the spot, mate. But this man seems to run a marathon every 6 weeks, and every time he runs a marathon, it seems to be a 2 to 3 minute PB. So 12 months ago was the first time I met Richie in a pub after Osaka Marathon, when I personally had the worst run of my life. And Richie had the best run of his life. And what time did you run 12 months ago, mate?
2:33:07.
2:33:07. And this guy, you could not wipe the smile off the face of this guy last year, 12 months ago. And what was your PB going into Osaka this year?
I was a 2:40 man race, so I was, you know how it goes. It's a bit easier to improve when you got minutes to kind of find at that sort of time. But yeah,
So you went 2:33 12 months ago, but before you ran Osaka this year, you'd run a 2:26. What'd you run at
2:25.
Sunshine? 2:25 at Sunshine Coast.
No, no. So I was out on the course at Melbourne with you. Well, a fair bit behind you. But yeah, 2:25:43. So
So
um,
25:43. Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. I remember who Richie scalped in the final few Ks of Melbourne Marathon. Do we want to bring that up again, or should we just move past that?
Who
Hello,
did?
Ben.
Oh, did he scout Ben? Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ben was bleeding from every piece of his body by that point.
uh, and also, I remember we're actually going to go back to that Irish pub tonight, Reece, just to reminisce a little bit with
Nice.
a few pints. But I remember this time last year, Richie really really wanting a mentor, and he approached I think yourself to see if you'd mentor him for the next year or so. Have you been mentoring Richie? Is this what's been happening?
No, I believe I denied him on the spot.
And what was the reason for the denial?
Um, I believe he asked for me to be a mentor, then he asked me to buy him a beer. And I thought this is a bit of a one way road here, isn't it? So we we cut ties at that exact moment.
You didn't get into the
Mate,
negotiating the terms of the mentorship. This could have been a lucrative deal for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, now it looks like it by this moment. So we'll kind of say Richie has run two. What did you run today, mate? I saw on Strava early today, and I was very impressed. So you've run a 2:22 something.
yeah, 2:22:08, so just on the wrong side of the minute. I should say though, before talking about the time, you passing on the mentorship is actually funny because I've actually had a bad run with people turning me down, not wanting to coach me, not wanting to mentor me, and you know what, Reece, we just save those receipts for days like today, don't we?
That's
Yeah.
that's exactly the right
And
response.
Anyway, Richie, on your Strava, mate. So you've run 2:22. I wasn't listening to the seconds. And then, so you're saying it's a 3.5 minute PB today, but you're not happy.
uh, I I feel like a bit of a douche saying this, but yeah, like just wanted to run. The goal was 2:19 to 2:21, and I said before it that if it starts with the 22, I'd be disappointed, and just couldn't find that 9 seconds to kind of be in that range. But yeah, I just did some dumb shit like trying to bridge the gap, and in hindsight, like I was in no man's land. But from 15 to 20k, I ran 40 seconds faster than any other split for the day for the 5k split, and
Why?
so just well, yeah, as I said, like there was no one around, and I saw this big pack of Japanese guys. I'm like, well, that looks like a good pack to run with. I wanted to, get onto them, and when I got there, it was an awesome 10k. We were doing like Japanese Indian file for about 10k. 12 of us. I was sitting on the back. I'm like, look, I've done all the work to get here, boys. I'm not doing a single step from the front of this pack. You guys can bloody have at it, and then. Have you talked about the conditions yet, Dave? We don't make excuses, but the snow
I
the
haven't
snow
I haven't
did
got
kind
into
of
it.
come in later, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon
So,
the snow hit me about 20k. Was that is probably when it probably hit you as well, and it was
so
like,
yeah. Well, we'll get to this right now. So,
uh,
by the sounds of it, Richie has run conservative till 15k, you're saying, then 15 to 20, you've run extra fast to find a group. So, we've got Richie to 20k. Now, Dave, your first 20k looked smooth as anything. You were just ticking away at 3:15 to 20k. Is that how yours went?
nah, mine was maybe a little bit different. The goal was to run 3:15s and just like run that as easy as possible, but pretty early couldn't find a group at all. So I just ran solo by myself, and I was probably more sitting around sort of 3:17 pace, and there was a group probably on I reckon maybe like 2:16 pace, and they were just like a probably a couple of hundred meters up the road. And I was trying to get to them, but it was just sort of swirling, windy conditions, and every time I hit the wind, I couldn't quite. I just didn't have the momentum to push forward, and I just didn't want to. I couldn't run any faster, really. So I was just trying to stay relaxed, and then I was just super lucky that at about I think 17k, a sort of group pulled up to me, and that was just the biggest blessing, man. Like there was just three guys, and then we just got rolling, and I can kind of just felt like find my mojo, and like with one of the guys, I stuck with him for the rest of the race. So
So, when
yeah,
you say they
kudos.
pulled up to you, they came up from behind to you, or you kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah. There was like three guys that sort of just came up, and then yeah, so they came up from behind, and I was just like, heck yeah, because I was needing some company, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
And then I think you boys were about to say at 20Ks, this is when the good stuff started to happen. So when Dave's wife messaged me and said at 20K, the weather started to turn absolutely glorious. Um, what happened at 20K?
I would classify it as I would like. blizzard, kind of like snowy blizzard, but not like super extreme. But it was windy with snow, maybe is the best way to say it. And so you know how though Osaka has these like long straights, so every time you'd hit a straight, it'd be like a headwind with snow just sort of like dusting into your face. And it just got cooler and cooler in the back half of the race. That's certainly how I found it. But I also, in a weird way, kind of enjoyed it as well because it was so unique. And so I was just like, I was almost like chuckling to myself just about how weird it was and how fun it was because I don't know, it was better than rain for sure. Um, but I was like, man, this is actually kind of fun running in the snow. Anyway, what was it like for you, Richie?
Oh yeah, no, I feel the same way because when it was getting to me, I'm like, geez, this is going to absolutely mentally like bury some people that are already having shit days, and I just didn't want to be one of those guys. So I was just kind of honestly, I was having fun with it until I wasn't. And then yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but uh, yeah, definitely not ideal as you said.
So you kind of ran with that group a bit faster from 15 to 20. It starts snowing at around about 20k. When do you slip off this group, Richie, or what happens with this group that you're in?
Well, one thing I forgot to say, Reese, is I actually the reason I decided to run faster because I was with the lead women's group and I thought, oh, how good's this? Like I'm getting a bit of airtime and then I had to make the tough call to continue getting the airtime or to actually run the race that I want to run. And I was running with Paddy Stowe and he was running too slow, so I'm like, what's he doing? I was thinking too much about Paddy, and then I was like, all right, stuff you, I'm leaving you all. And then so after 20k, I remember going through halfway. It was like 70:03, and I'm thinking, yeah, we're on here. Like this is good. And then what was the question?
The question wa- the question was, it starts snowing. At some point, you start to slow down. When did you start to slow down
Yeah,
and
yeah.
suffer? Because at the moment, you're saying,
Oh,
I just got faster and faster. I was feeling so good. People around me, they all suck. I was just running
And I
faster than them.
and I ditched the cameras for my own race. So
I ditched the cameras because I need to focus on myself because, enough airtime. And we know
no,
you run 222. You said you've gone through halfway at 70, so this doesn't match up. So at some point, you've slowed
yeah,
down.
yeah,
That's what
yep,
we're waiting
yep. No,
for.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Well, I need to say that I, I'm happy because the guys that like Paddy, he's better runner than me, and the elite women, I think they were like 220 girls or something, but they weren't today. Anyway, so the when I started slowing down was like 37k, and that's when like it was getting proper cold, and I was miserable because up until then I'm like I'm crushing it, I'm having fun, this is awesome. I'm gonna run 220, no worries. I was 30 seconds ahead at 35k, I reckon, because I was doing the maths and my brain was working well, which is rare for me. And then so
30
after
seconds ahead
30,
of what?
ahead of 2 hour ahead of 2 hour 20 pace, or ahead of like I reckon because no, sorry, let me rephrase that. I wanted to run at least 320s, which is like 2:20:40, and I'm at least 30 seconds ahead of running uh 320s the whole way. And
Okay.
I worked that out because like the maths is really easy for that because like 16:40,
Yeah.
33:20 for 10k, and then you do
yeah,
what 50 minutes, and then 1 hour 40. So it's like it's a great number. Um, but then after 37, that's when I was just in get home mode. My hand was sticky from the gel, but then it was also like half frozen. So I was just like focusing on that for the last 5k, like trying to unfreeze my hand. And I'm thinking, is this thing fucking stuck? Or like I'm trying to lick it. And yeah, anyway,
What
that
gel did you
go what
the
use?
you want.
What frozen gel did you use? Or what gel did you put on your hand that froze so quick?
I should say this podcast is not sponsored by any gel company, but I think it was pure gels. Well, actually,
Okay.
I had a mix because I'm very disloyal. So I had four Mordens, 40 grams, one precision 30-gram calf, and then I had a pure cola.
So
I reckon you've
what
still
you're
been
trying to
taking
say
those
is
caffeinated ones.
Yeah, you don't know which one made your hands sticky. That's what you're trying to say.
Oh, I reckon it was the caffeine one for sure, but it also might have been some of the Aquarius that I that I consumed on the way. Did you have any of that, Dave? The Japanese sports drink?
Yeah, I've been gushing that down the last couple of days, to be honest. I'm into it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I learned
It's not
last
bad,
year
is it?
not to get when it's cold, like whatever you do, don't get your bib wet and don't get your gloves wet or your hat wet because it just cools you down so quickly. So I was making a conscious effort to make sure like I was getting nothing like nothing wet from the gels or fluids. So and that definitely helped. But that
Yeah.
you were talking about uh that section earlier, but yeah, from 35K race, it was pretty much just it's like a 5K headwind and a 5K straight, and that 5K is so brutal at Osaka, and it was like a yeah 5Ks of headwind, 5Ks of snow on the face, and yeah, that was when people were just popping left, right, and center. It was carnage out there.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that was when the worst snow was, Dave?
Um, don't know, maybe yeah, I can't quite remember to be honest. Like yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Mm.
was pretty unique.
Pretty unique.
Um,
So Dave, you ran. You said you made a group. You ran through halfway with them. Then you stayed with a guy. And did you run pretty even, or did you kind of just fade a little bit? Those just more because of the weather conditions. You slowed a little bit, or
yeah, I reckon it was literally every time we had a slight tail, we'd go back to running 314s, 315s, and then every time we had a headwind, it was like on the other side of 220s. And so
Mm.
that 35 to 40 was it got a bit slow, but I was just a dog. I wasn't doing any work. I was just sitting on this one guy. You know how it is, Reese. Um, And then yeah, we turned the corner at 40K, and I was like, oh, I can actually run properly now. So yeah, I think I was in a little pack of four, but that probably disintegrated down to just me and this other guy at probably 30, 35-ish K. So I just finished the race with him, and yeah, he was so pumped, man. I have no idea who he is or his name, but he crossed the line, and I just pointed to him. I was like, "You are the man." And he goes, "Thank you. Today a big day for me. I ran a big PB." And I'm like, "You deserved it. It was awesome." He did all the work.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How good.
yeah. So you're stoked,
So
mate. 218. What was the seconds for you? 218.
I think I was 2:30 high, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
actually
over
know.
the moon with that. What is that? One of your better marathons you've run?
Second fastest for me.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, I think it's good, man. And I'm also just stoked that 8 weeks ago, right? I remember messaging you, being like, "Hey, man, I don't know if I can do this marathon. Not feeling good, and should I do it?" And you were like, "8 weeks, perfect. You'll love this build."
Yeah.
And you
I,
kind of, if
I,
you had said no, you can't do it, I wouldn't have showed up. So I'm so glad I did.
I remember we went on that long run and you said you had the week off, completely off running. And then you said, "Oh, I'm not sure if I do a sark." And I was like, "How long?" You're like, 8 weeks. And I said, took, took me 8 weeks to get into reasonable shape in the past. So I was like, "Nah, you've got it, mate."
I
And
actually
you did.
reckon I reckon an 8 week build is perfect. Um, you
Because you
obviously
go
want
in
to
a little
go in.
bit underdone, but you go in pumped, don't you?
If you kind of have a good sort of base before the 8 weeks, and not like crazy, but if it's non-specific training, like non-specific marathon training, then 8 weeks of marathon training is just awesome. You can really get momentum going, and you've got I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Rather than trying to do like a 12, 13, or 14 week block, it was so much better. So I think this will be me for now.
Yeah, because I remember you saying, oh, like literally 8 weeks ago, you're like, if I could even get close to 220 shape, I'd be over the moon. So when I messaged Liz, when I saw she said 218, I was just like, he must be stoked with that. Because I literally said to her, I said 8 weeks ago, he reckoned he had no chance getting into 220 shape. So you've
Yeah,
done well, mate.
and today just reminded me of like, man, the marathon's a tough race, and
Yeah,
there's no easy marathons, eh? And you've got to be fit and got to be strong, and especially to do one where it's like consistent all the way, like relatively consistent with your splits. It's such a
yeah,
hard thing to execute. So, but
yeah.
pretty rare. But if you can do
Yeah.
that, then you obviously you're doing something right.
Did you do a Mara block, Richie, and how long? Or do you just kind of just train all year round at like the same?
I was just going to quickly ask Dave. Well done. Did you say what your halfway split was for 218?
Yeah, I was 68, 45 or 50.
Okay.
So pretty high. So I was never really on like my goal pace, but I was just having to kind of, I don't know, just run to conditions and run to just how I was feeling at any given time. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And we know that the first half's quicker race, isn't it? That like at Osaka, because you always get that hill at like 32K, which is not like outrageous, but and then obviously, yeah, just most marathons you feel shit towards the end. But regarding my block, yeah, probably a bit longer than Dave, so I was fortunate in some sense. But look, one thing that was unique for me was I hit 200 Ks for the first time. I know it's like just an arbitrary number, and it's more about how long you've been doing it. But I hit three 200K plus weeks in a row, and for the month it was 200K average. And so, I was telling myself that in the lead up to the race, and out there today, I'm like, when I'm running with these Japanese guys that I have no idea whether I should be running with, I'm thinking, fuck that. Like I've done a month of 200Ks a week. I don't know what these guys have done, but there's absolutely no reason why I can't run with these guys. So that was
Just
encouraging,
quickly,
and
Richie.
yeah,
When you race in Japan and you've done 200K weeks, and you're thinking, what are the guys around me? I don't know what they've done. I've got guarantee they're doing more.
100%. No, that's a great call from you. Um, and I wanted to just touch on the fact that they're impressive, the Japanese, but they've got to be the dumbest racers. Like I reckon it's impossible to pace or to get in the right group, almost impossible, because they go out so hard and everyone seems to drop back. Like I ran 2 minutes slower in the second half, still past 30 blokes. It's like, how does that happen? And then last year I was on one, right? Best race of my life. And I passed 135 guys in the second half. It's like outrageous, I reckon.
Yeah, the kamikaze, they're pretty funny.
So
Just real
you don't
quick,
think you don't think you have to run 99 bad ones to run a good one?
Do I think that?
Yeah, clearly not.
Nah, I don't reckon.
there was this guy in the warm up area today in the elite area, and he was like sitting just close to me in the gym. You know, that gymnasium where you sort of you hang out before the race. And there's a couple of times where I was waiting for the Portaloo before the race, and he was just taking forever. Fuck, it was took like 10 minutes, man. I was getting so annoyed. This happened twice in a row. I was like, this guy, I don't know what he's doing in there, but he's taking way too long, right? Anyway, I saw him on the start line and just like kind of gave him a little eye because I just did not like this guy. And then he bombed massive and blew up at about 38K. I rolled past him and I was just so happy.
The best revenge is success, isn't it, Dave?
It is. Yeah, you've got to kill this, mate. I know you.
Oh, mate, you messaged me that we're on it, and apparently you want to take us down before we get too old.
Well, yeah, there's no glory in beating people that are washed up, but you guys are flying. Like I'm stoked to see that you're running sub 220 in your 40s, and sure we didn't give the people the head to head at Port Fairy that they wanted to see, Reese.
What are your thoughts on that, mate?
And
You happy you didn't turn up to Port Fairy?
well, the elephant in the room is people are wondering why you didn't do the double again. Some people have said it's probably the softest move they've seen in running for a long time. Um, but good for you. But yeah, let's have a few essays tonight and celebrate, Dave. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon we're on. All right.
Right,
This is us. Cheers,
right.
guys. Thanks for the
En-
call.
enjoy, lads.
See you,
Catch us
Ben. See
later.
you, Dave.
See ya.
See you, Reese.